as somebody who walks into a store to pick up a book, the one question you would always want to ask an author sitting in front of you is, why should I pick up this book and why would I want to read it? I think that is a universal question, right? That would be on anybody's mind. So you enter a store, you see a book, it's on a shelf. Why should I pick it up and why would I want to read it?
This book, The Realization of a Yogi, today I'm going to give everybody a copy. And I hope that all of you must take this copy. And another book that Malaika will unveil, a book on happiness. I want you all to take a copy because to me, the realization is this. Very funny. He will say, I am Shankar. He's an old friend from last 30 years. But he doesn't. I try to make him realize, your name is Shankar. You are not Shankar. So I realized I am not I. I will never die. If you ask anybody, will you die? What's the answer? Will you die or no? Yes, most people will say yes. But the realization is only the body will die. And people will say you passed away. So in this book, of course, today we don't have time to talk of the whole book. But that's why I'm giving you a copy of the book. And in this book, you will realize the ego that says I is a lie. Whatever we were taught in school has made us a fool. We have to learn to unlearn. And we have to empty and then relearn the reality. Unfortunately, we are like following the herd. Right, Malaika, don't you think so? That we are just following the... And therefore, we have to fly like a bird. So this is... I would rather ask you, what do you think after we have met a couple of times? Do you think we spoke on happiness? We spoke on some things. Do you believe in the philosophy that we are talking of, or do you have a doubt?
And let me tell you, it was one of the most free-flowing conversations I've had in a very long time with a complete stranger, so to speak. Complete stranger. I just knew of him because I was given material to read up on AiR, so I had all of that. But when I started talking to him, I felt like I knew him for a long, long time. In fact, just another lady introduced me as from Bollywood. I mean, yes, I am from, that is my profession and that is where I come from. But me being here, I think more, now I sit more like a friend over here next to you. So I think that's a nicer way to put it, that I'm here because I'm a friend as well.
When I met Malaika for the first time and we were doing a chit-chat, and I told her, obviously people, when you walk with Malaika, they think she's gorgeous and they think she's a princess. But I taught her a secret, which she liked the most. I told her, do you know that beyond being a princess to the entire world, you are a goddess? And she said, wow, how can I be a goddess? And I told her, deep within you, Malaika means angel, right? But deep within you is that Atma, the soul, the spirit, and you are that. Because she's got a divine personality which people don't know of.
Whether you have a conversation with you, or whether you pick up the book and you read, or whether you speak with me, I think everybody has a different takeaway.
But that you are divine, that you have a divinity inside of you.
I think we all have something special in all of us. Now, you sat with me, somebody you didn't really know, you've just seen up on screen, you had a certain perception in your head. When you sat and spoke to me, I'm sure you left with a certain takeaway, right?
Absolutely.
So I think that's what life is all about. You kind of leave with a certain impression, and those are impressions which probably last a lifetime.
So what do I ask in this book, to make it a little interesting? I ask people, what is man's greatest sin? Can you tell me?
What is man's greatest sin?
What is man's greatest sin?
Tell us.
Have you heard Mahatma Gandhi spoke of the 7 deadly sins,
Yeah. No,
people think
I go to church and I confess sins every now and then because that's part of my upbringing, yeah.
Correct. So you think of gluttony, greed, lust, anger. But what I tell people, and since you're from the Hindi screen, I tell people, इंसान का पाप क्या है? पापों का बाप क्या है? इंसान भगवान है पर सोचता इंसान इंसान है. इंसान सच में शक्ति है, दिखता पर वो व्यक्ति है. ये सबसे पाप इंसान है, पापों का बाप यही है. The biggest sin, the sin of all sins is we are divine. We are a manifestation of God. And in this book, I explain How? We don't die, the body dies. And last time I asked you your birthday, I hope you remember. We think we are born on our birthday, but we are born 9 months before. What were we? So these are the realizations that are there in this book. And what is the reason you said you should read this book? We are all trying to be happy. And the next book is about happiness. But people want to be happy, but how do you be happy? Do you
I
think?
said the last time, it's a forever quest.
Yeah. So
Finding happiness, right?
do you think are all successful people happy?
No.
So the other day I was with Karan Johar. You know what he told me? He said some beautiful words. They are friends, so I'm mentioning it. He said, "ये दुनिया अगर मिल भी जाए, तो क्या है?" So if you get the whole world, in the end, you have to leave it behind. This is the realization, to find out who am I and why am I here.
Those are the two most important questions. Who am I and why am I here on this earth? I think, don't we all have that question in our head?
Absolutely. And if you can answer those two questions, Malaika, you can be free from all misery and suffering. Today we suffer. Who suffers? Have you thought about it? Who suffers?
All of us have our share of suffering.
But there is a triple suffering. This triple suffering I was talking of, the body suffers physical pain, the mind becomes miserable, the ego gets angry, hate, revenge, and jealousy. But you are not the body, mind, and ego. You are the divine soul. S-O-U-L, you are the spark of unique life. This realization liberates you from all suffering.
You say realization of a yogi. What do you mean by that? What's a yogi? Who's a yogi? Why a yogi? It can be realization of air.
So people think a yogi to be a sannyasi. Yogi is not sannyasi. You don't have to stop being glamorous or eat food or have a party. No. A yogi, yogi jo yog mein sada hi rahe, prabhu ke योग में रहे, संसार की माया में वो ना फंसे, सदा योग में वो रहे, प्रभु की प्यास हो सदा, प्रभु से प्यार वो करे, योगी वो है जो माया से बच के रहे, प्रभु के योग में रहे. The yogi is like a good SIM card. When you have a good SIM card, you don't lose network. The SIM card is connected to the satellite. The yogi is connected to the Supreme. You can have Dhyana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. I was blessed with the fifth yoga. It's called Prema Yoga. And Prema Yoga is the yoga of divine love, where you see God in all. You love God in all. And you serve God in all.
Is there anybody sitting out here who would like to ask a question to AiR? Something specific, something maybe you've always wanted to ask, something that's on your mind.
Good evening to all. So I was just listening to you, and really I connect with the thing, because actually we are the students of Bhagavad Gita, including Monica. So when we heard this, so I was just connecting to what Krishna told Arjuna, right? So it is like the divine love. The divine love is almost the supreme. So do you agree on that it is, you are also inspired by Bhagavad Gita, and this is mostly from there?
Yes, the Bhagavad Gita is a beautiful text. The problem is how you interpret it. You must interpret it in the right way. So different people read the shlokas of the Bhagavad Gita in a different way. The Bhagavad Gita is an Upanishad. It talks of the Mahavakyas. The Mahavakyas are 4 lines of the Vedas and the Upanishads which can give you moksha. Tattvamasi, AiR-Atman Brahma, Prajnanam Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. These 4 lines with Neti Neti are the entire essence of the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads and the Vedas. So you're right, the Bhagavad Gita is a beautiful text, but how do you use it? Please interpret it in the right manner. Just like the Bible. The Bible says the kingdom of God is within. The Bible says that God lives in the temple of your heart. Then, that is the power within. That is the soul. That is the Atma. That is the spirit. But do we interpret the scripture correctly? Over to Malaika. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's nice sometimes when when you throw a question to the, just to get a different perspective. I think that's always, well, people kind of think that success, we said earlier, is happiness. Do they go hand in hand? Aren't we all on a quest for happiness, searching for happiness? Is that even possible? Is that something that we will probably be looking for our entire life? Is it something that we kind of make peace with?
Actually, we have forgotten the meaning of happiness. And when Rupa Publishers decided to write this book, we touched this topic. Happiness is success. Success is not happiness. See, again, I'm quoting.
You find happiness, you succeed. Right?
Correct.
That's what you're saying.
Yes, if you're happy, all successful people are not happy. But all happy people
Will succeed.
are successful.
Absolutely.
The moment you're happy, you're already successful. People are misunderstanding pleasure to be happiness. Pleasure comes,
Pleasure goes.
pleasure goes.
Yes.
But eternal happiness forever flows. So we have to find that way to achieve. Did I tell you the happy mantra?
Forget you told me, but I think you need to tell everybody
Okay,
else the happy
quickly,
mantra.
before you all leave, let me give you the happy mantra. Ajesh, Happy. The H means happiness is success. If you achieve happiness, you don't need success. You've already succeeded. A, accept. Don't protest. Because whatever is happening is unfolding as per karma. Don't protest. Accept. P, peace is the foundation of happiness. For where there is no peace, there can be no happiness. P, discover the purpose of life. And you will be liberated from the triple suffering of body, mind, and ego. And why? The cause of misery is why? Yearning. I want this. I want this. Jo mera, wo mera. Jo tera, wo. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. You said something, eternal happiness. This is me. I mean, I'm sure you have your take on it. I'm not looking for eternal happiness.
Is it?
I'm not, because I feel that's a quest which is very difficult to, and this is me, I'm talking for myself, and I'm sure you'll have a viewpoint on it. I feel I'm looking for happiness in the present. I need to be happy in the present so that I can actually move forward and finally find my path to some sort of eternal happiness.
But how?
I don't know. That you got to tell me.
You tell me, Malaika. How can you be, I'm asking you a question, how can you be in the present moment? Can you?
Tell me.
The monkey mind jumps to yesterday that is gone.
Yes.
And tomorrow not yet born. It jumps to yesterday and has regret, shame, guilt. You agree?
Yes.
Then it goes to tomorrow. It has fear, worry, stress, anxiety. But can anybody go to yesterday? Even if I give you all the money in this world, can you go to yesterday? You can't. No. Can anybody go to tomorrow? You can't. But somebody can. Who? We'll give them a prize. The mind.
Very good.
So what do you do, Malaika, is that you...
Control the mind.
No, you move from mind to consciousness.
Okay.
In this book, I talk about how you move from a state of mind to a state of consciousness. In the state of consciousness, there is no mind. Has anybody seen the mind? What's the shape of the mind?
I'm sure all the men in this room will say, oh, my wife or my girlfriend or their mind is working overtime. That's something they all say, right? Don't you agree?
So the mind is something you cannot find, but still it makes you blind. You have to leave it behind. Otherwise, in thought, you will be caught. Therefore, kill the mind before the mind kills you.
Consumes you.
Kills you. The mind will kill you.
Absolutely.
So you can, Malaika, before you go to Bombay, change your paradigm. Last time you told me, I'm a goddess. And today you must tell me, I will reach that state of eternal bliss. That is my challenge to you.
I think that's something, it's a takeaway, Every time I meet you, there's a takeaway. Last time he did say that. He says, what are you talking? He says, you're a goddess. It just felt good. It just felt good. Now, whether I believe it or I don't or whatever, I think that's secondary. But then the fact that somebody tells you that, you just feel so good about it that, yeah, I'm a goddess. In my head, I am. And I think that's something you just want to take away with you. So I think today that is my takeaway, how does one find this eternal bliss,
There
eternal
is-
happiness.
Yeah, there is eternal bliss in truth consciousness. And if you read these two books, I'm guaranteeing you, and you must take them with you, these books are guaranteed to make you happy. They'll put a smile on your face, and they will liberate you from misery and suffering. So this is what I have to say.
Well, that is so nice. I will leave everybody on. I think we've discussed quite a bit. I think we've touched upon quite a few of interesting things over here. One last question before I... Oh, sir. Yes, sir. What is your question?
I'm Raja Nambia here. I know you well.
Yes, sir.
I just want to know that in this world, we talk of karma. But you see few people who are so noble, so truthful, they suffer. While the most criminal-minded, the most, they enjoy. They have everything in life. So what do you think the reason that is?
Raja, where do you stay?
I stay in our own complex called Nambia Builders, Belezia.
Is any fruit tree in your building?
Yeah.
Which fruit?
We have, I have an orchard in Whitefield.
Which fruit?
I have chiku.
Chiku. In the chiku tree, have you seen mangoes on the chiku tree?
No.
You know, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Just like you can't have mangoes growing on a chiku tree, bad things can't happen to good people. Bad things can't happen to good people because as you sow, so shall you reap. Raja Nambiyar, if somebody is suffering today, there is only one reason. It is karma. It may not be karma of that person for this life. It may be karma of the past life. When you're driving a car, can you control whether you go forward or backward, right or left, slow or fast? Can you control? You can. Can you change the road on which you are driving? Some things you can't change, like the road, and some things you can. Your prarabdha karma, you spoke, the karma you are born with, you can't change. But the agami karma, what you're doing today, you can change. So if I die, if any of us dies, we don't settle our karma. The karma is pending. That's why a child may be born blind, not because God is not kind. A child is born blind because of the karma. Did you choose your mother and father? Karma decides how you came to earth. Karma decides our birth. We believe in the lies that God lives in the skies. We have to learn to overcome the ignorance. And this, you don't have to listen to me. Please don't listen to me or to anybody. You ask, you investigate, you realize the truth. You have got an intellect. An intellect will tell you what is black and white, what is wrong and right. The mind makes us a monkey. Don't listen to the mind. Go to that state of consciousness where there are no thoughts and be still and discriminate. And that is the way.